Okay. Good evening. My name's Jed Carroll. During the day I work for a digital agency, and I also write for a blog called Left Foot Forward. And I wanted to really amplify some of the points that have been made so far. I'll do. How's that? Is that all good? You can hear my dulcet tones. Excellent. Okay, but before I started speaking, I just wanted to get a quick show of hands. How many people want me to speak really fast so they can get more drinking in? Quick show of hands. Okay, that's actually a surprisingly low amount of drinking that's going to be required. Okay, well, it's good that you can all hear me now anyway. Some of the points that were made this evening were all great, but I wanted to really emphasise points about what does this actually mean for people in the digital industries itself. First of all, the legislation, we've heard talk about infringement and things like that. The way the legislation phrases it is suspicious activity. Now, what you think is suspicious activity and what I think is suspicious activity are completely different things. So for instance, you could use peer-to-peer networks if you're a gaming company to actually share updates of a game, like the latest packs for World of Warcraft or whatever. That would be suspicious activity. You could connect to your office and transfer large files, for instance if you're editing video or doing codes for your website, via a VPN system. That would be potentially suspicious activity. You could use a file sharing service like RapidShare or something like that, or Vimeo, to send rushes of footage that you'd shot to a client. That would be suspicious activity. So it's never been a better time for you to get into the courier business. Seriously, find people that know how to ride a bicycle and can ride fast and employ them. Second aspect of this is startups. How many startups go around and use free Wi-Fi in places like Soho and Starbucks and other places like that? That won't happen anymore because there's less likely to be free Wi-Fi there. If you think about the internet service providers, there's a few reasons why they're actually going and objecting to this, and none of them is because they all love you. The reasons are actually very pragmatic. First of all, it's going to make their ability to deal with my mum and dad phoning up and saying my router's broken a lot more difficult, because they won't be able to log in using the admin passwords, because these are widely known on the internet, and someone could actually use these to then log in and download the latest version of the Hurt Locker. So they're going to have different passwords for every single DSL router they've got out there. Otherwise their customers are going to get closed down really, really fast. Really, really simple customer service issue. Second problem they've got is all the equipment to do this is actually reasonably expensive. As I said, there was costs there. A significant amount of that £20 a year is going to be the cost of actually doing the monitoring and actually collecting that data and then analysing the huge amount of data that's actually going to come off it. Detica, who are a contractor for GCHQ and specialise in just this kind of thing, actually complained about the Digital Economy Act last November. And these people are going to make lots and lots of money off it potentially, and they don't like it. Also, once this information's been gathered, who's to say that all your web pattern information isn't going to get sold on to someone else? If you're a hacker and you know that this information exists, chances are someone eventually will start selling this information. Just in the same way as it shouldn't happen, but it does, you can buy CD-ROMs already of people's mobile phone numbers. That's the reason why you tend to get spam SMSs. Just imagine if all your web data, every website you visited, and your web behaviour is being recorded and been sold in a similar kind of way. It's a bad thing to happen, but once it's been gathered, it's a lot easier for it to be actually used in a malign way. Also, if you're setting up and you start up and you've got a great idea, the way the law is actually phrased about sites and that could be used to share copyright means that a large amount of the great creative ideas you've got out there, because bad people could potentially use them in bad ways, means that you could actually have your site closed down before you've actually had a chance to become the next YouTube or the next Google or the next Facebook. You could use a blogging platform to publish a book if you really wanted to actually pirate it. So that the law, the way it's framed, is so wide. So that means your creativity from the digital sector is going to get severely cramped. So the questions are, what's really good about the Digital Economy Bill? Well, it's great for people like myself that work in a different part of the communications sector and focus on reputation management, because I can accuse a blog 3 times of suspicious copyright infringement activity, send a letter to their ISP and get it closed down. So that's fantastic. For instance, imagine if BP decided that they wanted to use that for people who are objecting about the current oil spill here. By the time that you actually get round to it, actually dealing with it from a legal point of view, the oil spill will have been forgotten about anyway. And how many bloggers are really actually going to stand up and go through the legal rigmarole on that? So in essence, the law's actually broken. I'm not even going to go into the moral ins and outs of copyright, because to be honest with you, that's a discussion that we could have here, depriving you of the ability to drink in the sunshine for far, far longer. But it does actually affect your industry, it affects your ability to innovate, it affects your ability to actually conduct business in the way you actually conduct it at the moment in a legitimate manner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jed. What we could do